at a recap of what we have done so far. So basically, we are going to run through all the things we have done. All right. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to remember what we did from Monday up until Thursday. You remember we spoke about what? Insulating materials. Okay, so we said, why do we use insulating materials in summer? So we use insulating materials in summer to prevent heat gain and keep things cool. So we said insulating materials slow down the transfer of heat energy through conduction, convection, and radiation. We also said that insulating materials can prevent an object from losing heat and prevent an object from gaining heat. We also said that we use insulating materials to make objects like cool boxes to keep things cool. We use insulating materials in ceilings to prevent heat from escaping. This will also keep the room warm. We also use insulating materials for clothing like jerseys, coats, woolies, hats, and blankets. We also said that a hot box is a device that saves energy by preventing heat loss. We also said that hot objects like food can be placed in a hot box. The hot box prevents heat loss and keeps the food at a cooking temperature for a much longer time. A hot box can also keep objects cool. All right. We also said that insulating materials slow down the transfer of heat energy through conduction, convection, and radiation. So that is very important. We also said that insulating materials can prevent an energy from losing heat, for example, flask, blanket, and gloves. We also said insulating material for clothing like jerseys, coats, woolly hats, and blankets. We use insulating materials in ceilings to prevent heat from escaping. This will also keep the room warm. So we said insulating materials can prevent an object from gaining heat, for example, cool boxes, fridges, and flasks. A hot box is a device that saves energy by preventing heat loss. Okay, so I just finished making some statements. I'd like to ask you some questions if you were listening to me. So please, I want you to mention insulating materials or objects that prevent heat from entering into those objects. Can we mention them? The question is, mention any insulating objects that prevent heat from entering into them. Yes. So you remember we have objects that prevent heat from getting into them, and we have objects that prevent heat from going out or losing heat. So now the question is, mention materials, any material that we have just learned here that prevents heat from entering into those objects. Yeah, just keep, let's be fast. Yes. I know you are typing. If you didn't hear the instruction, please just get back to me before we proceed. All right. Uh, okay, the question is, mention any material that prevents an object from gaining heat. So we have got some objects that will prevent heat from entering into them. And I'm saying you mention any, at least two. Yes. So if you Okay, if you are late, no problem. Just let's get going. It happens sometimes. All right. So my question is, mention any object that prevents heat from getting into those objects. All right. So I give you the next minute to send in your answers. I know you are typing. I know you are typing. Yes, let's make it fast. All right. Okay. So my question, let me see whether somebody is coming in with the answer. My dear learners, make it fast. Amo is here, Angelina is here, uh, Nkosi is here, Hello is here, Sally is here, Molei is also here, and then Fiso is also here. Okay, so my question, we should mention any two objects that prevent heat from entering into those objects. Yeah, you know them. You have even used one this morning or yesterday. Okay, 30 seconds more for me to move to the next. All right. Um, for example, objects that prevent heat from entering into them are, we have cool boxes, we also have fridges, and we have flask. Okay, let me see whether you will get this one. Mention any material that prevent objects from losing heat. What objects do we keep or do we wear or do we use such that it prevents heat from losing or going out of those objects? This one you must get it. You know it. More especially it's winter time. Yes. Okay. All right. But yeah, okay. Somebody just send in the answer. That is Angelina. Okay. So examples that prevent objects from losing heat are, we have flasks, we have blankets, and we have gloves. Oh, okay. So let's go to the next. All right. So we mentioned a hot box, and we needed to talk about it. How it's okay. Let me see. Thermal what? Okay, so we are looking at this one. So we said a hot box is an energy saving device. It is usually filled with small polystyrene balls, which are very good insulators. Which are very good insulators. Okay. So we said we are going to build a hot box, but we will be using newspaper and blanket instead as an insulating material. So by the end of this slide, you would have seen the one that is constructed by me. Okay, so we said cooking foods such as rice or beans takes a long time and so uses a lot of energy. When we use a hot box, the food first needs to start boiling. Then it can be put in the hot box. Then the hot box will keep the water hot enough to cook the food. After a few hours, the food will be cooked and can be removed from the hot box. All right. So this is an example of how the hot box is. You see, made of wood and paper, and then there is food that is kept inside or placed inside so that it will keep it hot. All right, now let's listen to this. I've spoken for a while. I want you to also speak now in the form of writing. What is a hot box? And why is a hot box considered as an energy saving machine or energy saver? Checkpoint 2. Is the statement true or false? In summer, insulation is used in cool boxes to keep objects in the box hot box. The rough which through which heat transfers method does insulation slow down heat transfer. So send in your answers. Let's do number 1 first. Let's do number 1 first. Yes, let's keep going. All right. Let's see. All right, somebody has Amo has come in with an answer. All right, let's wait for the rest also. So we're talking about energy saving objects, and then the hot box is an example. And the question is, what is a hot box? Why is a hot box considered as an energy saver? As an energy saver. Okay, as an energy saver. Okay. All right, I can see the answers. That's good also. Angelina. Yes, keep them coming. Molehi, Sally, Fiso. Okay, let's keep our answers coming. So if you are done with checkpoint 1A, let's go to checkpoint 1B. So Angelina, what is coming from you is correct. All right, let's go on. Waiting, waiting, waiting. If you are done, go to 1A. Let's be fast. We need to cover up much. All right. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Yes, so we're saying what is a hot box? And a hot box is a device that is used to help cook food like rice by preventing heat losses. Sure. Now we said B, why is a hot box considered as an energy saver? So we say a hot box is an energy saver because it prevents heat loss and prevents damage and cooking even when it is removed so that the food is not that damaged too much. So in B, I repeat again, a hot box is an energy saver because it prevents heat loss and the food can continue cooking even when it is removed from the stove or fire. So here the food is not damaged because the heat is just required to make that food cooked and it doesn't burn out. Okay. Now then also looked at what? Conservation of energy in homes. So we said in winter we want our homes to be warm, and also in summer we want our rooms to be cool. So we need to what? Conserve energy. We can use insulating materials in our homes to help us prevent heat loss or heat gain. Okay. And then we said insulating materials like shoes in winter, we wear them so that the boots, the winter boots, is a typical example mostly at home. So we can use insulating materials in our homes to help us prevent heat loss, heat gain, depending on the season. So you remember, it's winter now, so some of us will use some winter boots to keep our feet warm. Okay. So besides using the gloves and the jerseys and the jackets, so insulating material like styrofoam can be tipped in the form of what? Foam boards so that they will be stuck in walls. Okay. So that at the end of the day, in ceilings and in the walls, it prevents heat loss or heat gain. So basically, insulating materials like styrofoam can be used in ceilings to prevent what? Heat loss or heat gain. Then we look at carpets, and we also said carpets prevent what? Heat loss during winter. So that's why some people will do what? Will put the carpet on the floor at their homes. Now we also look at what? Thatch roofs. Thatch roofs can also help keep what? Houses cooler in summer and warmer in what? When it becomes summer. Okay. So thatch roofs plays two roles. One is cooler in summer and warmer in winter. So if you design it as we'll be seeing when it's summer and then you have constructed your house with what? Thatch roofs, then what is going to happen is that more more of the thatch houses should be needed so that it's cooler in summer and warmer in winter. So now as we are staying in winter now, so if you are in a grass, then you feel that it's warm. But immediately, if it is removed, then you have to face the full consequences of what? The winter or summer. So touch roofs are very, very important. And you remember yesterday I was telling you that there are some people, they are using touch houses, not because they cannot afford zinc or other amenities, but they are looking at the advantage and disadvantage. So gases, painting the walls of houses with white paint can help reflect heat radiation, keeping the house cooler. That is, painting the walls of a house white can help reflect the heat radiation, keeping the house heat cooler than if it was in summer. Okay, all right. Is there any question, my dear learners? Please send in your questions. Send in your questions. The last sentence I just read is talking about the importance of color in our what? Our daily life. When we paint the walls of a house with white color, it helps to reflect heat radiation, keeping objects or houses cooler than if it was what? Painted in Black. All right, because the black will absorb the heat. All right, now let's go to the next. Then we said the weather in South Africa is winter and also in summer. But in winter, it's extremely cold, depending on which province you are staying or living. And then summer is hot. Okay. Now, so we need to use insulating materials to solve out these kinds of problems. So in South Africa, we have cold winters and hot winters and hot summers rather. Our houses need to be placed or to be made of special insulating material to make to facilitate materials so that they are cool in winter and warmer in summer. So our houses need to be made of special what? Insulating materials. In winter, insulating materials in houses slow down heat transfer from the inside of the what house to the outside cooler air. Okay, I hope you are getting that. All right. So I just said that in winter, insulating materials in houses slow down heat transfer from the inside of the house to the outside cooler air. And in summer, insulating materials in houses slow down the heat transfer from the heat from the hot outside air to the inside of air, to the inside of the house rather, because there will be a convection current. So if they are cold air, they will have high density. So at the end of the day, the hot air goes out and comes back. So the movement or the process for it to be calmed down will give you what you are expecting in terms of what insulating. Okay. Now we mentioned some examples that we can use to carry out what we just did. We mentioned styrofoam also. Carpet is now coming up. Okay. All right. So we said foam boards for ceiling. Oh, shit. Foam boards are similar to styrofoam and can be placed in the ceilings of houses. In summer, the foam boards slow down heat transfer from hot roofs to the rooms in the house, keeping them cold. The phone boards are also digital. The phone boards are also can also slow down heat transfer from hot roofs to the rooms in the house, keeping them cold. Listen again, in summer, the phone booths that we just talked about, they are some kind of boards. They slow down heat transfer from hot roofs to the rooms in the house, keeping them cool. The foam boards also slow down the heat transfer from warmer houses to the cold air in winter, keeping them warm. Okay. Now, the carpets that we have spoken about, they are also good insulating materials in winter. They slow down the transfer of heat, donating for warmer rooms to the cooler rooms. So in winter, they slow down the transfer of heat from the warmer room to the cooler room. Perfect. Okay. Now I want you to answer this question for me. What are insulating materials and why do we use them? Yes. What are insulating materials and how do we use them? Keep your answers coming. Okay. Very good. An answer has already arrived. Keeps food warm. That's the insulating material. The arrest, Bipelo, you are welcome. Angelina, I'm sending your answers. Wasile, your answers.
What? What?
If we are done and there is
Sir, are we
time,
gonna do Kahoots today, sir?
yeah, we may do, depending on if we finish what we are doing.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
I, I wanted to tell you that uh, I have the answer for insulating.
Okay, what is it?
Uh, insulating material are used to keep I used to cover the electricity wire as copper wires
That's
and
perfect.
sir?
Yeah, I'm saying that's perfect. Yeah, so you have an idea about what we are talking of. So because the copper wire or the wire is carrying the electric charges or current is flowing through, if there is no insulating materials like rubber or whatever that is used to cover it, then people can get electrocuted. That's perfect. So that's one form of insulating material. You have done well. Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you are welcome. Okay. All right. So I was saying that the phone balls that are also they also use slow down heat from the warmer rooms to the colder roof to the cold roof in winter, keeping the room warm. Okay, so we also spoke about carpets are also good insulating materials. So you will find out that in our various houses, as I'm speaking, maybe in your house, you have got a type of carpet. So one thing, the carpet is also beautifying the house, but at the end of the day, it is also playing a good role. So without a carpet in winter, the floor is very, 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 very cold. But some of the carpets that are used keeps your floor a bit warm, so you don't even notice it. All right. I saw somebody sending in a message. Yeah, very good. Okay, you are listening. So let's quickly move away from this. All right. I like the way you are participating. Now, you remember we also spoke about what insulating materials in South Africa. We were looking at the Zulus and we were looking at the what Xhosas. And we said South Africa has what? Indigenous and traditional homes that are designed to be energy efficient in our climate by using materials that help conserve heat or energy. Okay, you remember heat is a form of energy. So if we look at the Xhosa, a traditional Xhosa rendezvous has a thatch roof, thick walls, small windows, and a space between the walls and the thatch roof. We have learned that hot particles rise and cold particles sink. This we are talking, that's the reason why we did convection. When we have got hot particles, hot air particles that rise and cold particles sink, it's like there is a cycle that is convection current. We can also have hot water particles and then cold water particles. So the hot water particles sink or they move down, and then the cold water particles move up because the hot particles have got less density, and then the cold particles will have got what more density. So this rotation is talking about what convection current, and convection current can occur in liquids and also what in gases. This brings about ventilation. So let's continue. Hot air in the house rises and escapes through the space, keeping it cool in summer. So you can see that. So that's how you see the Costa Roundabout is an uh, indigenous design, but you see, it's addressing this idea of what cold air and warm air at a certain time. Then going further, we said South Africa is what in a southern hemisphere, and houses should be built facing north to get what most of the sunlight. This will make houses warmer in winter. So just like we are here, there are some rooms or some houses that are built, and the advice is that because South Africa is in the southern hemisphere, it means it's down Africa. Yes. So what you need to do is that you must build your house or your room to face northwards so that it can gain more of the heat energy coming from the sun. Okay. Yeah. So this will make houses warmer in winter. The roof overhang of houses should also be what on the north side. The sun is higher in the sky during summer and lower during winter. So you can see that. You can also observe this statement. You know, in winter we have got what? Uh, Shorter days and longer nights. All right. And the opposite is in summer is also the same thing. Okay. All right. So the roof overhang will create shade during summer because the sun is high in the sky. The roof overhang will not create too much shade in winter because the sun is lower. So you take note of this thing. Okay. South Africa also has technologies that can improve the energy efficiency of our homes. Can you mention the technologies for us so that we can uh, see whether you remember what we did yesterday? Mention the technologies in terms of building houses that we learned yesterday before I roll down or I roll on for you to see. I'm waiting. Yes, I can see somebody is already in. Okay, solar panels. Yes. Your yellow paint also is having some kind of a bit of absorption. Yes, but basically it will not be compared to what white paint. So white is a good reflector and black is a what good absorber. So that's why it's always advisable to paint your house with white paint. Okay, so that it will absorb the black will absorb heat and then the white will reflect it. Okay, I hope that I have answered your question. Okay, now so let's look at somebody mentioned a solar panel. Okay, we is also one of the technologies. Yes, this was the technologies I was talking about. We learned yesterday. So you can see that we are looking at touch, roofings, touch houses. Okay, so you see, so these are the touch roofing that we are talking of, and they are good in summer and also good in winter. In summer, the place is cool, calm, and then you will sleep well. But in winter, it keeps you warm a bit so that you don't become so cold. Since getting too much cold can lead to a sickness. So this is a South African technology that I was talking of, the touch roof technology. Okay, let me see somebody talking to me. All right. All right. Okay, we understand that. No problem. Okay, cool, sir. All right, so let's get going. Let's move to the next. So this is one of the South African technologies for the roof touch. All right. We also spoke about another South African technology that is what hollow cement bricks. And what do they do? We said the earth bricks, concrete, and hollow cement blocks are examples of material that store heat during the day and release it at night. Buildings should be made from what? These materials to be energy efficient. Hollow bricks allow walls to have air pockets. The air pocket acts as what? Insulator. So, if you can you imagine if you were to build your house with a hollow cement and then a thatch roof, how beautiful will that be? In summer, you are going to feel cold, very nice. In winter, you are going to feel warm. And then this one will absorb the heat and release it in the night. So you see what will be happening. So some people basically they build their houses using hollow cement bricks and then what? Uh, and then thatch roofs. All right. Okay. So let's go on. So this is also what another South African technology. Take note of that. All right. Another technology that we spoke about is the double glazed windows. So double glazed windows can also be used as insulation. Double glazed windows are made of what? Two glass panels with an air gap between them. The air gap between the two panels of glass acts as what? Insulator. So can you imagine if you were to build your house, you roof it with thatch, and then you build it with also what? Hollow bricks, and then to couple over, you use double glaze for windows and doors. How beautiful. You see that you will not lack anything. Everything, whether winter or summer, you just say, let it come. Because your house, you build your house taking into consideration all of this. That's very good. Okay. Now, you remember we looked at what? Systems, energy systems, energy systems. We were looking at useful energy and wasteful energy. And then these useful energy systems that we learn, we need to what? Bring it, remember the things we are doing now. So when we talk of energy systems, one of the energy systems can give us what? Useful energy. So when we talk of useful energy, we are referring to energy that is good, is of good use to us. So when we talk of useful energy output, it means energy, we have to put something into an object, and what comes out is what? Energy output. So the energy output can be useful, the energy output can be wasteful. All right, so let's go on. Systems such as appliances, tools, vehicles, and machines provide useful energy output. I repeat, systems such as appliances, tools, vehicles, machines provide what? Useful output. Systems change input energy to provide useful output energy. For example, the input energy in cars come from fuel. The input energy is changed to produce movement, moving up from one place to another. Another example is a kettle. The input energy is electrical energy. The input energy is changed to heat energy that allows us to compute and boil the water. Okay, this heat energy is useful energy. So what it means is that if we have a kettle, then when we connect it to a plug, is the input energy is electrical energy because without it, the plug cannot be on. So what happen is that the input energy that is already inputted or that makes your kettle to be on and to boil your water is heat energy and is useful. So at the end of the day, when you connect the kettle, the electrical energy makes use, that the kettle makes use to be able to what? Heat your water for you. And that is the what? Useful output energy. I hope you are understanding this concept. Okay, so let's go to the next. So we said we have learned that energy systems change energy from one form to another. Very good. Energy systems always have an input energy and an output energy. So what is input energy? Is the energy is that is put into a system. Very good. The input energy is changed to output energy. Output energy is the energy that we get at the end of an energy system. Okay, so I'm going to pause here in on point D. Then I will ask this question. Differentiate between input energy and output energy, and give an example of an appliance. I'm waiting for my answers from my beautiful learners. I am saying, please let's differentiate between input energy and output energy. All right, I'm waiting for my learners to send in their response to this question. If you didn't hear it, also just let me know. I will say it again for you. So my question is, what is the difference between input energy and output energy? And I'm waiting for your responses. My dear learners, I know you are typing. Okay, let's keep on going. All right, I'm waiting for your answers. Yes, I've just seen somebody coming through. Yes, let's see. Okay, that's good, cow. Hello. Then what of output energy? Because I said let's differentiate between input energy and output energy. Okay, send them in. Very good. Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. It's a perfect answer from Hello. All right, so it means we can proceed now. Okay, cars need fuel in order to drive us from one place to another. We use, we can not use fuel to drive far distances, but for aeroplane we do. So cars need fuel to drive us from one place to another. We must take note. We cannot use fuel to travel far distances. We can use a system in the car to change the input energy fuel into brackets fuel into useful output energy into brackets fuel. Okay, so the useful output energy is called kinetic energy. It is useful because it allows us to do what? Okay, allows us to travel over a long distance or a certain distance. Okay, then let's look at a kettle. So previously we said a kettle needs electrical energy to heat up water. We cannot use the energy input unless we know what we want to do. So a kettle needs energy to heat up water. Okay, all right. So we said kettle is also one of the what appliances that heat the water. It it must be changed to heat energy in order to heat water. The useful energy output or the useful output energy that a kettle provides us with is heat energy. So you can see that we have a kettle, then when you connect it, we get electrical energy provided the light is on. Then when we on the kettle, the water is heated up. So the input energy here is electrical energy, and the output energy here is the heat energy in the water, or that is used to boil the water. We can then use it to drink tea or cook or do whatever we want. All right. Okay, so let's go on. Now let's check what I've been saying, whether you are fine with me. Okay. So we have got what two um, assessment here. So may you quickly respond before I continue with this? The time is up, so I will just run fast. Yes, please send in your answers. Send in your answers before I continue. Okay. All right. Okay, so these are our answers. Okay, perfect. I like your answer. Yeah, they are very good. Straight away. All right, now, yeah, you can see the corrections here. Energy, that's very good. Most of you, Bright, Angelina, Corsa, your answers are right. That's very good. So so these are the corrections. Okay, so we were supposed to do this. We did this yesterday. All right. So uh, if you please have a question for me before we end off. The time is up, unfortunately. We cannot play Kahoot today. I know you are going to ask whether we are going to play Kahoot. Okay. We fellow also bye and stay safe and everybody. So hopefully I will be around next month and then we can study and then go through with Kahoot. All right. So however, also stay safe. It was nice having you around and enjoy the rest of your lessons. And bye for now. and stabilize